third episode that we've got Michael Cazayoux here with us, joining us for the Q&A, getting his unique perspective. Today, we're talking all about balance in relationships.
Standing up for your own goals in your relationship is not always easy. Most of the time, Adee and I are 100% supportive of each other's goals. Sometimes she says she wants to track her macros, she's really working towards some very specific nutrition goals, and one night I just want to crush some pizza. It would be way more fun if she would eat it with me so I don't feel bad. And so sometimes I'll try to coerce her, I'll try to peer pressure her into doing it, and most of the time she holds strong and she says, no, I told you I have this goal, I'm not going to eat pizza. She holds her boundaries, she stands up for her own goals, which does a couple things. One, she's building integrity with herself. She promised herself that she was going to stick to her macros, and she's doing that. That integrity muscle, that trust muscle with herself gets a little bit stronger. On the flip side, it shows me what's possible for because she's standing up for herself. I know that I can do it for myself as well.
Yeah, one of the really good pieces of advice that we got from a mentor is that when you're doing things like being consistent with fitness, nutrition, or your profession, or you're maintaining that integrity with yourself and that consistency, it's really good to think about it that it's super easy for me to be like, of course I want to crush some pizza with you right now. Like, how much fun is that in the moment? Eating some pizza, watching some Peaky Blinders, or whatever we're watching on Netflix, and just really having a good time. It's, of course, I really want to do that. But for me, taking this perspective that she taught us of standing up for their greatness, it's like me standing up for him just as much as it is me standing up for myself, not giving in to that temptation of just absolutely, completely forgetting about all my goals. There is a time and a place, but every time that I do stand up for my goals and what it is that I'm looking to achieve, it's also standing up for his goals and what he's looking to achieve, even if they're not the same thing. It gives him the courage to see, I can say no in the face of adversity. And I think as a byproduct helps him strengthen that integrity muscle too.
At first it pisses me off a little bit, but then I love her.
There is a big difference between holding someone accountable and being judgmental towards them. When you're holding somebody accountable, it's not your job to convince or persuade them to change their life. You're not going to be the person that's like, do it this way, and you know exactly the right way to do it for them. You might be able to guide them and reflect back to them the things they say they want and the way that they're actually behaving and how those might be in conflict. But anytime you try to give somebody some type of advice or tell them exactly how they should do things, you're automatically going to put them a little bit on the defensive. So when you're holding someone accountable, be careful towing that line of, trying to tell them exactly how to live their life, and instead encourage them to make those choices for themselves. Work together as a team to together find what's going to work best for that person. So it could be me being like, hey, Michael, what do you think is going to be most helpful for you to achieve the goals that you said you want? Because I see that you're doing this. And then together we can find what's going to work best, and it's going to have him buy into the plan instead of, I tell you exactly how it should be, and then him be like, don't tell me what to do. Like, I'm not going to do what you tell me what to do.
That would not work.
Which for most people, it's not going to work. I mean, you get unsolicited advice, and almost everybody automatically wants to reject that advice because you didn't ask for it, even if that advice is good advice. So just know the difference between holding someone accountable and telling them exactly the way that they should live their life.
That's great advice. Another thing is that if you notice yourself being judgmental, realize that that probably has more to do with you than them. It's an insecurity in you that you're projecting onto them. And try to remember that you've struggled in the past and you will struggle in the future, and to be compassionate towards them.
You're human. We're all human. So just remember that a little bit better is better than nothing at all.
Growing up, I've always taken a lot of time for myself, almost all of my time for myself. I've had a lot of time alone to be introspective, and I've also had a ton of time with my male friends. Meeting Adee is the first time that I realized how much I need what we call we time. And I've learned how nourishing it can be to me to have time with just the two of us.
For me, it's almost completely the opposite. I've always been all about like the we of our relationship and not as much about the I in our relationship. So being with Michael, he's really taught me how important it is to spend time to develop the I and figure out exactly what I want to do, where it's my natural tendency to do what we want to do and maybe sacrifice a little bit about what I want to do to spend more time together, be around each other. And it's a lot more uncomfortable for me to spend time alone or to spend time with friends and developing those kinds of relationships. So realizing that I get some support and love and the ability to support others and love others differently than the support that I get from Michael has really expanded my quality of life and helped me realize how much more types of love there are out there, and it's made my life so much more full.
Thanks for tuning in this week. Join us next week as we're talking about romance.